Hey friends, let's talk about my top 24 reads of 2024. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaleesa and I'm here to talk to you about Black books, specifically Black romance books. And today I want to talk to you about the best books I read in 2024. Now, before I get into my list, I want to just go over my total book stats. Don't be weird because I know how people get when it comes to how many books people read in a year. I am a fast reader. I am at any time reading 3 to 4 books at a time. That works for me. It doesn't have to work for you because reading is not a competition. If you read 400 books this year, you a reader. If you read 4 books this year, you are a reader. There's no competition. Okay. I just want to make that very clear. So I did write everything down because I wasn't gonna remember all of this. Okay, I'm gonna just be honest. I wasn't. So book stat wise, I read a total of 223 books. 174 of them were ebooks. 24 of them were audiobooks. Turns out I am an audiobook girly if the audiobook is good. And then 25 of them was physical books, and that's really kind of crazy to me. Do I buy physical books? Yes, but I feel like I buy physical books just so I can look at them on my shelf because I hate holding books. I also had carpal tunnel surgery in both wrists last year. So it can get a little bit uncomfortable. But somebody over on Threads actually sent me a link for a book stand. I'm gonna order that and see if that kind of helps me move through books a bit quicker, my physicals at least. But let's hop into these books. I'm gonna count down from number 24 to number 1. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I liked each one, but I don't want to be here talking forever. Okay. So let's start with number 24, which is Fallible by Nicole Whitfield. Let's just say that when I finished this book, I was like, what the fuck did I just read? Okay. It talk about a diabolical read. I don't know what Nicole Whitfield be having going on in her head, but this book, I was flabbergasted when I got to the end of this book because I thought it was a romance book. And people was falling in love, but I wouldn't call it a romance. It was good though. And there's a second book coming out. I can't wait because I just feel like she's gonna blow my mind and probably scare me a little bit more. We'll see. Then at 23, we have Wyatt by Asia Monique. This is a spinoff of her Mafia Misfit series. It is arranged marriage. The FMC in this book is deaf, and I really appreciated the way that Asia handled that, and the sensitivity she put into representing that, and having Analia be a representative of the deaf community. I just thought that she you could tell she took her time and did some research, and I appreciate that. Wyatt Barlow, a man. I That's a man. Period. Um, 22, we have Grow and Tell by Ashley Nicole. This book had me cackling. Okay, so it's part of the Mason family series. Basically, the FMC and the MMC meet because their dogs have been fooling around and the female dog gets pregnant. So now they're grandparents and they start kind of like a little friends with benefits situation. It's very cute. You got dogs in bonnets. You have a term that I will probably be using every now and then, dick fishing. Hilarious. Ashley Nicole's always gonna make me laugh though. But Grow and Tell was really, really good. 21, Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Let me tell you something. This was my second S.A. Cosby read of the year. I did this via audiobook. Shout out to Adam Lazar White. What a talented man. And if you watch Living Single, he was Alonzo from season 1. He was the teacher that Khadijah started dating that she was like madly in love with, and he wanted to move on, but then Scooter popped up like, baby, I'm back. And yeah, you know what I'm talking about. This book was so good. I did not want to press stop. Every time I had to press pause so I could work, I got mad. And it had me rooting for a white man, which is very weird. But Buddy Lee is my guy. He just is. He just is. At number 20, we have Church Girl by Naima Simone. This book caught me completely off guard. I saw a bunch of girlies talking about it over on Instagram and on Book Talk. And I went ahead and put it on hold on Libby, and it came a little bit earlier than I expected. And then it just kind of sat there. And then I started reading it on Christmas Day, and I was super into it. But then also Libby snatched my book back promptly at 7:49 p.m. on December 25th. So by 7:52, I had purchased the ebook on Amazon so I could finish it. Ate it up. It's a nanny romance. There was tension. There was angst. It was the spicy but spicing. Ate it up. Ate it up. What they did in that truck outside the strip club. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Number 19, Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. I love Danielle Allen. I would pull out my collection, but it's in the back. Of Oh no, it's not. It's right here. Y'all can't see it, but I have a lot of Danielle Allen books. So I've been reading her for a while. I'm so proud of her to see her transition from an indie author to traditionally published was great. And there were a lot of people that didn't fuck with Curvy Girl Summer the way that I did because of the fat phobia. Um, I loved Curvy Girl Summer because I recognized so much of myself in Aaliyah the FMC, but also in her experiences as in dating as a plus size Black woman who was confident in herself. And I just appreciated that Danielle kept it very real, very straightforward. I would say that if you stopped reading this book because of the fat phobia Aaliyah experienced from her family, to maybe go back and give it a try. Because the book is not about her family, the book is about Aaliyah. I'm gonna just leave it there. Okay. Number 18, Keas Dream by Elma Dearest. This was a debut and I flew through it. I opened this book up, and next thing I knew, I was at the end. And it is very rare that a debut captures me the way this book did. But there was just something about the way Elle portrayed Kiva because Kiva had been in love and got done wrong because she has PCOS, so she's unable to carry a child. And that kind of fucked with her relationship, and she got burned real bad. And then she meets this billionaire, and they have a one night stand, and he's like, hey, I think I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And she's like, I'm not trying to do none of that love stuff, but we can keep this friends with benefits thing going on. And he's like, that's not gonna work for me. And it didn't work for him. And he showed her, okay, I wish a billionaire would buy my apartment complex and evict me so I'll move into his high rise in the city. Okay. That sounds like a dream. It does. I'm sorry, it does. Um, Number 17 and number 16 are 17 is Blood Debts. Number 16 is Blood Justice. This is the series from Terry J. Benton Walker. This was me putting my toe into like YA fantasy. Ate it up. What a representation for Black teenagers, for Black queer teenagers. I love the portrayal of New Orleans. I love the magic system. And I'm speaking directly to tour team right now because I don't know what y'all got going on up there in New York, but somebody need to get on the line so we can get the rest of the series because the way Blood Justice ended, I need to know. I need the rest of the story. Okay, so stop playing games. Let's go to work. Let's get things done. Let's get this man back in the lab so he can give us the rest of the series. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Coming in at number 15 is Excess Baggage by Nicole Falls. I am not a huge, I wouldn't consider myself a huge age gap person, but when it's done right, it's done right. And Nicole did Excess Baggage. It's an age gap. It is older woman. It is younger man. They work for a Black airline. And the FMC, she just wanted to keep things very casual. The MMC said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. We finna do all of the above. Okay. And you're gonna be in love with me. And we got to watch these two people fall in love. The laughs. Every time I think about somebody calling somebody big jeans, I just chuckle to myself. I loved Excess Baggage. If you haven't checked it out, you need to add it to your list. Number 14. This is a whole series, okay? Because I saw everybody talking about Product of the Streets by E. Bowser, and I was like, I feel like y'all are capping. Like y'all doing a lot. Baby, the girls was not lying. This series was something else. And I'm still in the middle of book 5. I need to finish book 5. But my book club, we were only supposed to read the first 2 books. We ran through them first 4 books, okay? And I'm still trying to figure out how I can get behind the curtain. I will say, if you pick up Product of the Streets, you need to go ahead and suspend any reality while you're reading this book because it is so unrealistic. But it's fiction, and fiction gets to be unrealistic. And if you just allow yourself to act like everything is fine, you're gonna enjoy it. Okay. You're gonna find yourself liking stuff that you didn't think you was gonna like. And you probably gonna get a little concerned. But from my therapist to you, it's just fiction. You understand that it's fiction. You can enjoy fictional things that you would not enjoy in real life. That's okay. Number 13, The Way to Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. Probably the best audiobook I read all year. It was fantastic. This book was supposed to last me like a full work week. I started it on a Monday morning. I finished it by Monday. I had to finish this book. The story was so well done. Oh my God. Now I will say I didn't like so in the audiobook, there's like a bonus epilogue in the physical book that's not included on the audiobook. So the audiobook kind of ends up in the air. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you got to figure it out yourself. I don't like when people do that. You took all this time to write this book. Tell me how it ends, because the way my imagination works, I'm going to create several different endings and it's going to stress me out. This book was so good. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read the physical copy because I feel like I want to annotate it. But what a fantastic retelling of Carrie. Ate it up. Ate it up. Number 12 is The Other Side of Fame by D. Rose. Fake dating between a rapper and a singer. My favorite part about a fake dating story is when the characters accidentally fall in love with each other. And that's what happened in this book. I smiled the entire time while I was reading this book. I loved it so much. Number 11, In the Meantime by Love Belvin. Love Belvin stand account. Full transparency. I love Love Belvin. I do. That lady's pen has never led me wrong. This book starts off so crazy because you have a Sean and Hayden, and they're both in Vegas. And Sean, who's our MMC, mistakes Hayden for a lady of the night. And she goes along with it. And then they keep reconnecting when they get back home. And so they're two very complicated characters who absolutely do not have their shit together the way that they think they do. And this book does end on a suspenseful cliffhanger. That is something that I knew going into it. I still chose to read it, and I still think about them at least once a day because I am patiently waiting for part 2. I hope that we get that soon. Love has not been like super talking to us, so I feel like she in the lab. I feel like she in the office talking to her clients. Number 10, Capri III. Big Pre, not the little one. Capri III by Jaquel J. First of all, I am a Delgado. Jaleesa Delgado, that is my name. I loved Capone. I loved Capadonna, and I enjoyed Capri's story arc in both of her brother's books. But her series itself, baby, I think I knocked Capri 3 out in 5 hours. Gotta be. I was determined. I just couldn't stop reading it. So much happened. So much happened. And it's not even the last book in the series, but I ate it up. Jaquel J, she was my most read author of the year, and I picked up Capone in September. That lady has had me in a chokehold since September of 2024. That's crazy. And I can't wait for Kasim's book, which comes out, I think, this month. We gonna see. Number 9, Roomy Lover Friend by Sean. When I tell y'all Elijah is book boyfriend material, whew. First of all, Sean don't write no bad books to me. Every book I've ever read from her, I loved everyone in the book. I loved her characters. I love the way she writes them and the depth that she gives them. But Elijah has forced me to make a man. He was just so thoughtful. Like, he was just so damn thoughtful, because what other men are out here building apps to create the perfect date for the woman they love? The care and I just loved him. Roomy Lover Friend by Sean. If you ain't ready yet, you need to read it. Okay. Number 8, Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. Let me tell you something. I have had Honey and Spice in my house for at least a year and a half, and I just never picked it up. And I did see the audiobook on Libby, so I placed it on hold. And when it came available, I said, okay, we're going to read it. Kiki and Kai, another fake dating story, but I feel like they're my babies. And watching them and seeing them deal with their own issues and seeing them fall in love and even them breaking up, and then I love this book so much. And then I found out that there's a sequel coming out this year. I don't know who I gotta ask, but if you want to send me an arc, I will happily accept it. Okay, this is not me begging, but I might. I don't mind begging for books that I want to read. Dead ass. I'm so serious. Number 7 is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Let me explain, okay? Because I read this book out of spite. I somehow ended up on the other side of book talk, and everybody, it was just Abby Jimenez this, Abby Jimenez that. So I went and put all of her books on hold on Libby, and I was like, I'm gonna see if people, if she for real or if people just gassing. She's for real. I love this book. They was writing letters, y'all. They was giving kidneys. I love this book so much. And what Brianna did to get revenge on her ex, I was like, that's my kind of bitch. I really love her. I really did. Um, Number 6. Ruger by Gray Huffington. I love Gray Huffington down. If that lady has released a book, I have read it. I have never in my life wanted to fight an author the way I wanted to fight Gray. Reading this book took me through so much emotional turmoil, okay? My chest was tight. My eyes were leaking. I was texting my friends like, I'm finna fly to Texas because I have to talk to this lady in person because why would she do that? Oh, Ruger was so good. It was so good, but it is also a book I will say that is not for everybody. I don't think everybody will appreciate Ruger the way that I did, but that's my girl. Okay. Number 5, This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Soledad caught me off guard. I did not think that I was going to enjoy her book as much as I did, just because I felt like I wouldn't connect to her based on how I met her and before I let go. I ate this book up. And I'm also going to say something that might be a bit controversial, but I don't think that this is a romance story. I think it's a love story, but I think it is a self love story because this book is really about Soledad, one, having to pick the pieces of her life up herself, finding that strength and that belief in herself that she can do that, and then, like, the cherry on top was her being able to start something and establish something with fine ass Judah Cross, who is a black man. Just, I know that might be a bit confusing for some of y'all because y'all don't know what the color umber is, but Judah is black. I just want to point that out. But yeah, I love This Could Be Us. It was so good. Coming in at number 4 is Sweet Honesty by Joan Vassar. Just such a beautiful love story, such a complicated love story because it follows two men who are homosexuals. They are gay, they are black, and they are living in 1950s New York. And it was illegal to be gay back then, which is fucking wild because why do people be so invested and why do you care so much about what somebody's doing in their bedroom as long as it's not abusing anybody? Leave them people alone, let them love who they want to love. And I love the way Joan Vassar wrote this story. um I have zero complaints about it. It was a beautiful story. It was a beautiful story. Number 3, boy, I have not been a fan fiction girl for a long time, but I read Manacled this year. The only reason Manacled is not my number 1 read of the year is because I don't want to live in that story. I loved it. I will probably read it once every 6 months, but I don't want to live in that story. It was a very rough story to read, but it was so good. And if you would have told me in January of 2024 that in January 2025, I would really be saying Team Draco, I would be like, girl, get it together. Like, who would cheer for Draco Malfoy? Me. Okay. What Sin Lin you did, the depth that she gave these characters, that lady who wrote the original series, she could never. And it's also fuck her. And you could tell her I said that. Number 2, A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. This was my first Tia Williams book, and I didn't really know where we were going for like the first 50% of the book. I was just along for the ride, and I was having a really, really good time. And then when things started to really like fall into place and I figured out where we were going, I was just absolutely in love. Did I cry during the last 40 pages of this book? Yeah, I did. It had me down bad. I lost several lash clusters, but it was such a good book. Mm. That's a book I'm definitely going to be rereading. And then my number 1 book of the year, Intrigued by Danger by India Carter. Look, if you can, within the first 4 chapters, make me fall in love with a character that I forgot existed, you know your ass wrote a good book. What India did with Declan and Ella, boy. First of all, Della Mae Thomas is one of the baddest book bitches I have ever read in my entire life. She is probably my number 1 badass book bitch of 2024. But her and Declan, Daddy Declan, Switch Declan. Ooh, this book was so good, and you can tell that she took her time writing it. She did her research on the BDSM aspect. She did her research. She wrote 500 pages, and I gobbled them up and then reread it again. Such a good book. And again, I ain't like Declan. I didn't like Declan through them first two books. I didn't like Declan so much, I forgot who he was. And by like the fourth chapter, I said, I think he's going to be my favorite danger. Just the power of the pen. That is the power of the pen. So those are my top 24 reads of 2024. Have y'all read any of these? If you have, let me know in the comments. If not, you should absolutely check them out. And I will see y'all next time. Have a good day.